everyone. I have a quiz for you.
I was about to introduce you. Okay, go on.
My name is Maya, and I have a quiz for you.
Okay.
Are we going to do It's what we're going to do in this video today.
What
We're going to do Japanese jobs, or we're going to do financial problems.
Which one are we going to do?
If we're going to do financial problems, raise your hand. If you're going to do
Japanese jobs.
Stomp your feet.
This is like Dora the Explorer. Okay. So what did they choose? So what's the right answer, Maya?
Have you choose yet, everyone? But I'll tell you the answer now since you can't choose. The answer is both.
Both. So I'm going to talk about two things today. This is not part of Happiness 2020. This is just to my audience, particularly in Southeast Asia, and to those following Happiness 2020. I guess it can be kind of related. And ones are financial problems. Now, I don't say we all have them, but people do have financial problems, and I know I do from time to time have financial problems, meaning I want more money than I have, or I need more money than I have. Don't hit the tennis ball while we're doing the video. Come over here. Come. Either be quiet or come into the video.
Come into the video.
Okay, you got you. Okay, so we talk about financial problems in the context. Hannah, we can't see you. But we talk about financial problems in the context of trying to do your thing. You found out who you are, what you want to be, and maybe there's no job to do it. Maybe there's no business. Maybe there are no customers, so to speak. And that can cause you to be stressed. You might charge too much for your services. You might come off as a little too needy. Pretty good. Come off as a little too needy. And you might sabotage yourself because of the pressure you're feeling because you need to hit certain financial targets. Now, my suggestion and the real practical approach to that is to, find something that pays the bills while you work in your free time to do something that makes you money, first and foremost. Second thing is meditate. Try not to think about this problem. Try to figure out why this problem isn't as big as you think it is. A lot of times our money needs, unless we can't pay our house or whatever, a lot of our money needs come from either buying things we don't need and we tell ourselves we need them, and meditation can help you clear your mind a little bit, or you really have this financial goal in your head and you just can't seem to achieve it. And sometimes meditation can just take that pressure, like I've got to do this. And you may think about it and go, well, maybe I do, but not today, not this month, maybe next month. But meditation really helps. But that's going to be a real derailer for you, right? When you want to do something and you feel you need money or resources to do it, and you don't have those. So the thing is, you still need to, in order to be happy, you still need to do it. There's situations where people have done things with less money. It can be done. Or you never know, by being yourself, by getting out there and meeting the right people and solving the right problems, the money may come. But either way, you worrying about it isn't going to make it come in and of itself. So you got to somehow put the worry into a place where it doesn't derail you. That's the first thing. The next one is jobs in Japan.
Jobs in Japan.
Yes, I've had problems. Well, not working in Japan. I've had jobs that were problems. But what I mean, for those of you who don't live in Japan, especially in Southeast Asia, you're looking to work in Japan. We ran into a problem once with a candidate from the Philippines.
And he got fired from his first job.
No, this guy from the Philippines did not get fired from his first job.
No, you.
Not from my first job. I didn't get fired from my first job, sweetie.
You got fired. You said when I was a baby, you got fired.
When you were a baby?
Yeah, you got
fired. Baby. That before you were born. This is like 20 years ago. This is long before you were born. But that's another story. We can talk about that later. Okay. But kids, they say things. I wish I...
Hey!
Okay.
Don't you dare say that about me.
Okay, I got you.
Kids are great.
Okay. So let me get into Japanese jobs.
Get that baby goat.
We had... Let me film the video, then you can talk to me. Okay, so what then wound up happening is the way that we had to go to the Philippine embassy, and I had to, as the head of HR, go to the Philippine embassy, and after filling out lots of applications and forms and whatnot, to sort of get the right to hire someone directly from the Philippines. It would have been easier had that candidate, or we had introduced the candidate to a recruiting company and even pay the recruiting fee, because directly hiring someone from the Philippines is technically not legal, and you need to get a certain permission to do so. So if you work in the Philippines and you're wanting to come to Japan, primarily, please consider using a recruiting agency, or advise the company that wants to hire you of this challenge and have them introduce you to a recruiting agency that can perhaps introduce you formally into the company. Additionally, if you are someone who is working in Asia and wants to be in Japan, there are a lot of companies that are now looking to hire people, contractors, especially for programming, scripting, coding, even due diligence for, joint ventures and stuff they do overseas. So one of the best things you can do if you're thinking about setting up, not a business, but if you're thinking of somehow getting into Japan or being involved in Japanese business, is to make sure, one, you're incorporated. Find a way to incorporate yourself will be, one, a helpful tool as you work with Japanese companies, because especially if you're working offshore or, there are, believe it or not, there are companies that want to leverage overseas talent. And when you're incorporated, it makes it easier from a compliance standpoint for them to contract with you from a distance. It's not common, but it can be done. So all I'm trying to say is, one, if you're trying to, girls, you will play tennis once the video is over.
Yes, everyone. And everyone, my daddy is the best daddy.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Come back soon.
Please come back soon. I could use the likes. But closing this off, if you are starting out to do something, you're trying to be the new you, etc., incorporating yourself is always a good idea if you can do it economically and it can be cheaply done in your country. But also, if you work with a Japanese firm, or you work with a company based in Japan, being incorporated can help. I've known people who have, from overseas who've said, I want to work offshore. And the only thing that was in the way were they weren't incorporated. So once they went home and incorporated, we worked with them. So you never know, especially if you're working in Japan and you think, well, I work in Japan, what if I, have to go home for something? If you incorporate yourself in your home country, when you return back to that home country, you can still continue working for a Japanese company making Japanese money. So those are two things. Primarily on a financial standpoint, this is primarily to my Happiness 2020 people. Financial pressures will derail you. There's really nothing you can do. If you need money, you need money. That's just the reality of it. If you don't need money, you don't need money. But it's taking some time to sort of clear your mind and make things a little more clear in your head. Trying to get rid of all the noise can maybe help you clarify to yourself, just help relieve the pressure so you can think clearly and not be controlled by this need for cash. Secondly, regarding work in Japan, if you can, by all means, use a recruiter. If you're from certain countries, look at the law. If certain countries make it difficult for companies to hire directly overseas candidates. And if you are working in Japan or thinking of working in Japan, being incorporated can help you should you wish to work offshore. Or in general, if Japanese companies work overseas all the time or looking at overseas companies, etc. And if you've been to Japan, but you're back home now, being incorporated can really help you get your foot in the door. Okay, so I have to close this video because my daughter wants to film something and, I'm an indulger.
It's going to help the world.
Oh, well, cool then. Okay, well, we're going to go help the world now. Have a good one, and I'll speak to you again. Bye.